Rajasthan, a land renowned for its vibrant culture, vast deserts, and rich history. But if we look beneath the surface, what does its population really tell us? According to the 2011 census, Rajasthan is home to 6.85 crore people. That is nearly 5.67% of India's total population, or roughly 1% of the entire human race living within a single state. Let's unpack the fascinating human geography of India's largest state. Counting people is not a modern obsession here, it is an ancient legacy. From Chanakya's Arthashastra during the Maurya Empire, to the detailed records of the Ain Akbari in the Mughal era, tracking demographics has always been vital. India's modern census journey began under Lord Mayo in 1872, turning into a systematic, decadal practice under Lord Ripon in 1881. Today, mandated by the Union List of the Constitution and managed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, the 2011 census marked a massive historic shift, costing 2,200 crore rupees, introducing the National Population Register, acknowledging transgender individuals for the first time, and transitioning into a paperless digital format. At a macro level, Rajasthan remains overwhelmingly rural, with 75.1% of the population living in villages, while 24.9% reside in urban areas. Children aged 0 to 6 make up over 15% of this population. When it comes to gender, males account for 51.86%, and females make up 48.14%. But the distribution is heavily skewed by geography. The bustling district of Jaipur holds the state's maximum population at over 66 lakh people, while the desert expanse of Jaisalmer holds the minimum, at just under 6.7 lakh. To understand the present, we must look at history's darkest demographic anomaly. Between 1911 and 1921, Rajasthan experienced a record negative population growth rate of -6.29%. This unprecedented decline was driven by a perfect storm. A widespread, deadly outbreak of the plague epidemic, the devastating global human toll of World War I, and intense domestic social upheaval. Decades later, the pendulum swung completely to the other extreme, hitting a record positive growth peak of plus 32.97% between 1971 and 1981. By 2011, the state's average decadal growth rate settled at 21.30%. But look at this divide. The arid west is experiencing explosive growth, led by Barmer at 32.5% and Jaisalmer at 31.8%. Meanwhile, the hyper-irrigated north and developed east have stabilized, with Sri Ganganagar recording the state's minimum growth at just 10%. Paradoxically, the most rapid population expansion is happening in the harshest desert environments. This creates an incredible contrast in population density. The state average is 200 people. But in the urban core of the east, districts like Jaipur and Bharatpur are tightly packed, with Jaipur housing 595 people. Step out into the endless sands of the west, and the land opens up dramatically. In Jaisalmer, the density drops to a mere 17 people, emphasizing the vast, unpopulated reality of the desert expanse. Now let's examine the gender landscape. Rajasthan's average sex ratio stands at 928 females per 1,000 males. A slight improvement from 2001, but still concerningly imbalanced, with no single district crossing the 1,000 mark. The tribal south shows the healthiest balance, led by Dungarpur at 994. On the flip side, the eastern borders show critical deficits, with Dholpur sinking to an alarming low of 846. Even more worrying is the child-sex ratio for ages 0 to 6, which dropped sharply from 909 to just 888 statewide, hitting a rock-bottom low of 837 in Junjunu. This data uncovers a jarring socio-demographic paradox. Wealthier, more literate districts often display worse sex ratios than poorer, tribal regions. Why? In districts like Dungarpur, lower per capita income, lower literacy, the prevalence of joint families, and the complete absence of a dowry culture correlate with a higher sex ratio. Conversely, in areas like Dholpur, higher incomes and greater access to technical facilities unfortunately correlate with illegal gender selection, while nuclear family shifts and a strong prevalence of the dowry system further suppress the female population. When it comes to education, Rajasthan holds a troubling title. The highest male-to-female literacy gap in all of India. While male literacy is relatively high at 79.2%, female literacy lags dismally behind at just 52.1%. The educational crown goes to Kota, the coaching hub, boasting the state's highest literacy at 76.6%. Jhunjhunu leads in male literacy. However, the southwestern district of Jalore sits at the bottom, struggling with an overall literacy rate of 54.9% and a female literacy rate of just 38.5%. The daily lives of Rajasthanis are split by lifestyle. The rural majority accounts for 75.1% of the state, with Dungarpur having the highest concentration of villages, and an average rural literacy of 61.4%. The urban minority represents just 24.9%, highly concentrated in industrial hubs like Kota, boasting a much higher literacy rate of 79.7%. While Jaipur holds the highest sheer volume of both groups due to its massive size, the true heart of the state is pulled between hyper-rural regions and concentrated urban hubs. The state's social fabric is intricately woven with scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities. Scheduled castes make up 17.8% of the population, heavily concentrated in northern agricultural zones like Sri Ganganagar. Scheduled tribes account for 13.5%, forming a massive demographic block in southern tribal belts like Banswara and Dungarpur. Interestingly, the tribal communities maintain a noticeably healthier sex ratio of 948, compared to 923 among SC populations. In terms of faith, Rajasthan's religious demographics are anchored by Hinduism at 88.49%, with its highest percentage in Dausa. Islam represents the next largest faith at 9.07%, peaking in percentage in Jaisalmer. Sikhism makes up 1.27%, heavily concentrated in the northern border district of Sri Ganganagar, while Jainism accounts for just under 1%, mostly found in Udaipur and Jaipur. This diverse spiritual landscape is governed under cohesive state and national population policies. Ultimately, Rajasthan cannot be defined by a single state average. It is a synthesis of three distinct demographic archetypes. The arid west, sparse and desert-bound, yet growing at an explosive rate; the urban core, dense, highly literate, but historically struggling with lower sex ratios; and the tribal south, rural and economically challenged, yet boasting the healthiest, most equitable gender balance in the state. To truly understand Rajasthan is to look beyond the number of 6.85 crore, and appreciate a human landscape defined by extreme geographic, gender, and social contrasts. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment if you enjoyed this quick revision.